Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki became overpowered at a young age and rebuilt the Uzumaki clan? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. The seemingly ever-rustling leaves of the forest were now ablaze. The usual calm atmosphere of the place was now turned completely opposite. The birds leaving their nests instead of returning to them, the insects finding a place to rest far away from this chaos, the beasts running away from what appeared to be far more beastly. Among these, there stood a civilization of humans living in what appeared to be a village. But at this moment it was rendered under complete chaos as people ran away with their children to protect their lives. Houses, property, money, fame, nothing mattered at the moment, except their existence. Yes, Konoha was under attack, by Kyuubi no Kitsune aka the nine-tailed demon fox. Utilizing the only chance of defeating the fox spirit and saving the village, the Yondaime Hokage sealed it in a newborn baby using a powerful technique which unfortunately was a double-edged sword and resulted in his demise. The newborn child laid there and is heard from the dying Hokage. He was the hero of the village. His name was Naruto. Few years later, a kid ran through the streets of Konoha as a group of villagers chased him in hot pursuit. He was a mess, to say the least. His clothes were tattered, his hair were dirty and his eyes, well, his eyes, they showed a mixture of feelings. Anger, yes, a little, fear, a little more, but the most visible emotion out of all was only one. Confusion. Why did it just have to be him? His mind raced. Suddenly, he turned into an alleyway. Mistake. It was a dead end. He turned to see himself surrounded by numerous people. The look in their eyes was so cold it could turn something into ice. Suddenly he was hit in the head by a blunt object. He felt his consciousness disappear slowly as he drifted into darkness the moment he hit the ground. Drop, drop, drop. Just imagine when Naruto enters his mindscape. I can't write that voice of water drops hitting the water here. He woke up slowly hearing the voice only to find himself in a closed tunnel-like place with doors surrounded by darkness. Through one of those doors he heard a low-pitched growl. Cautiously, he treaded into the tunnel only to find a huge room on the other side of which seemed an equally huge cage. Ironically, it seemed to be kept in check by a small piece of paper which was probably quite a powerful seal to hold a cage of this size. He walked in front of the cage step by step, water splashing under his feet reflecting a pale yellowish light that illuminated the room. Beyond the cage lied complete darkness. As he walked towards the cage a sudden growl came from the cage along with an incredibly fast claw that emerged from between the bars of the cage. It looked to him like he missed by an inch or two. He landed back on the ground afraid of what lied in front of him. Through the cage he could see two menacing eyes, sharp fangs as large if not bigger than him and a fierce red aura surrounding a shape which resembled a fox. Where was he? Why was he here? The last thing he could remember was being cornered in a street by some villagers. Did they kill him? Was he dead? Was he sent to hell now for the reason everybody hated him? Was this the form of some deadly soul reaper? Tens of questions came across his mind, but before he could make head or tail of anything he heard a voice, a deep unnerving voice. Child of man, why have you come here? What is it that you seek from me? Wait, I didn't ask to be here. Why am I here? And to be precise, what exactly is here? I don't even know where I am, exclaimed Naruto. Ah, so you don't know what this place is, brat. Ha ha ha, this is going to be troublesome then. Maybe this could make it easier, said the creature as it flashed 9 glowing tails from behind. Suddenly, it hit him. It was the 9-tailed fox spirit that attacked the village all those years ago and the Yondaime Hokage sealed it in a newborn child. He heard villagers talking about that incident when they thought he was unconscious but he actually wasn't. He couldn't understand how it was related to him at the time but now he understood what it was all about. Everything. The way everyone treated him like he was some monster, some kind of a freak of nature, it was all now crystal clear to him. He was the child in which the Yondaime Hokage had sealed the demon fox. You're the Nine Tails. The one who attacked Konoha all those years ago, exclaimed Naruto. It was not my wish to onslaught the village brat. I couldn't care any less, to be honest, said the Kyuubi. Then why did you do that? Asked Naruto. HMPH, you're 1,000 years too young to understand that, brat. Now, get lost, you're disturbing my slumber, said the Kyuubi as he emitted a huge wave of killing intent that pushed Naruto back from that place and into the reality. He opened his eyes to find himself in a closed room with dim lights. As he wandered his gaze around the room, he could see a figure standing close to the wall on the other side of TH room. As he groggily woke up on the bed in an upright position, the person came closer and said, "You should take it easy for now. You might still have a concussion after what happened. You were hit pretty hard." He inspected the person head to toe. Judging by the long flowing violet hair on the back, it was a girl, wearing a traditional Anbu attire with a mask on the face which resembled a cat. "Oh, Neko-chan, it's you again. I see you saved me. Thanks very much," said Naruto. It seemed that she had saved him on multiple occasions even before this one. Before she could say anything, the door opened and an old man entered the room wearing a robe that only one person in the village had authority to. He was the Sandaime Hokage of the Leaf Village. "Greetings, your service," said the woman as she kneeled on one leg and bowed her head. "Ah, Neko-chan, I suppose you saved our Naruto-kun yet again. You have my regards," said the Hokage politely. "You humble me, Hokage-sama. It was my duty and nothing more," said the Anbu agent. Slightly nodding in acknowledgement, he walked towards Naruto. "What happened out there, my boy? Can you explain the situation which led to you in this state?" asked the Hokage nicely. Remembering the situation, a lump formed in his throat, but he had decided that he would be strong and not cry unnecessarily. He exhaled a deep breath. The Anbu were trained to be heartless so that they can think clearly in a mission, but watching a young kid being ostracized by the whole community made the woman standing beside clench her fist in anger as well as sadness. He started explaining slowly, "I was out to buy some food and groceries for this month. When I was heading back home, somebody caught me from behind and then threw me in an alleyway. I don't know if people saw it or not, but nobody came to help. I was frightened, so I ran away as fast as I could. But I stumbled upon a dead end when a few people attacked me. Next I knew, I was here," finished Naruto. He looked as if he could start sobbing any minute now, but he put up a brave face. Hearing this, the Hokage was infuriated. Those damned civilians, not leaving a single chance to spare this boy. "Neko-chan, I want to hear the scenario from your perspective. What exactly happened there?" asked the Hokage, which sounded almost like an order. "Hokage-sama, I was on my way to submit my report regarding my last mission. I saw some ruffians chasing someone in a lonely area behind the market. I decided to investigate in case if someone was being harmed. As I reached the rooftop, I saw one of those men hit Naruto in the head from the back with an iron rod. I attacked those present there without a second thought. Some are dead and some maybe half dead. I carried him here to the Anbu medical squad as quickly as I could," reported the cat-masked woman. "And exactly where the hell is his Anbu guard who was on duty today?" asked an angry Hokage. She flinched at the tone but knew that it wasn't directed at her. "Apologies, Hokage-sama, but I don't know. I'll have to check. Wait here, Tiger, appear at once," ordered the Hokage to nobody. Suddenly, a man with a tiger mask appeared from the ground who was seemingly the captain of the Anbu Black Ops. "Bring me whoever was on duty NOW." The Hokage's voice was now attaining a deadly tone. "Hi, Hokage-sama." A sweating and terrified Anbu disappeared. The Hokage saw a bag full of groceries lying near the bed. "Maybe Neko carried it with Naruto here. If you don't mind, may I look at the handbag, Naruto?" he asked. Naruto shrugged in affirmation. When he took a closer look at the handbag, the Hokage found that almost all of it contained instant ramen. Not that I'm stopping you from eating whatever you like, my boy, but you should take care of your health by eating different nutritious foods. You'll fall ill if you eat the same thing regularly, told the old man with a concerned look on his face. It's not that I don't know that, but the problem is that all other foods are out of my budget. The only thing that I can eat and can buy is ramen. Old man Tuki at Ichiraku's gives it to me at a normal price. He even offers me food sometimes when all my budget is over and I'm hungry, said Naruto. Wait, that isn't possible. I give him enough money so that he can live a normal life, unless, thought the Hokage. Naruto, can you tell me how much a pack of bread or a bottle of milk costs you? Asked the Hokage. Let's see. 250 ryo for the bread and 300 for the milk, told Naruto. What? Exclaimed the two voices as even the Anbu woman couldn't keep her surprise in check. Yes, but I get instant ramen for 10 ryo a pack, which is quite cheap, so I can eat a lot, grinned Naruto. Damn those villagers, they are overcharging him for no reason whatsoever, thought the Hokage. In the meantime, the captain brought along the one who was responsible for guard duty, whose mask looked like a wolf. Would you care to explain what happened, or should I have you thrown out right now? Exclaimed the Hokage. Apologies, Hokage-sama. I was on guard duty as usual, but I saw someone attack the boy from shadows with kunai and shuriken. I was able to deflect the attack, but the intruder engaged me. I was able to defeat him, but he managed to escape. After that, I tried to find the boy, but he was nowhere in sight. I've been looking for him until Captain San relayed me that you summoned me immediately, reported the man. So not only civilians but ninja are also involved in these attacks. Damn, this is worse than I thought, the Hokage thought. Okay, now listen to me carefully. Tiger, you are to investigate all of the surviving attackers and the ninja who engaged Wolf. Wolf, you are to investigate all the shops who sell overpriced goods to him. Should any of them resist, drop them to Ibiki. Finally, Neko, you are to drop Naruto home safely and be on guard duty for the rest of the day, ordered the Hokage. Hi, Hokage-sama. All three of them said as Tiger and Wolf shunshined body flicker technique away. Naruto was about to go to his home but decided to tell the Hokage something instead. I know. He blurted out. What do you mean you know? What are you talking about? Asked the Hokage. Now I know why everyone hates me. Why I'm treated like I'm a nobody. Why I'm always being punished. The reason why, I'm an outcast, said Naruto. Both of the adults were completely shocked. It's because the demon fox spirit that threatened the village years ago was sealed within me by the Yondaime Hokage, isn't it? Asked Naruto. But how did you know this, Naruto? I forbade anyone and everyone to talk about this matter as a decree, said Hokage. Naruto slapped himself mentally. He couldn't just say that he met the fox inside his mind. To cover up, he said a quite convincing lie. Well, when I was being chased, one of the men said that he'd kill the demon fox before it kills everybody. And it wasn't tough to deduce after that. Everybody knows that years ago on that day the fourth Hokage sealed it in a newborn child. That'd be me then, said Naruto. Damn those stupid villagers, I didn't think that they'd stoop this low, thought the Hokage. Neko-chan, you wait here. I have to talk to Naruto in private, said the Hokage as he took Naruto by hand and guided him towards his chamber. He placed a privacy seal there so that nobody could interrupt or eavesdrop their conversation. So Naruto, now that you know this, what do you intend to do, my boy? Asked the Hokage politely. I won't be scared of them no matter what they do. One day I will become Hokage and then everybody will respect me like they respect you, said Naruto bravely. Hee, and here I thought I'll have to counsel you. Now that I know you're not going to do anything reckless, I suggest you start some basic training for self-defense purposes. Here, I'll lend you some of my old scrolls one used when I was a child, said Sandaime Hokage. Naruto's eyes could be seen glimmering anime style as the scrolls were handed to him from some old cupboard. Arigato, Gigi. Thanked Naruto as the old man could be seen smiling due to the fact that the boy considered him as family. He summoned Neko and then both of them left the place. It seems that this place is not safe anymore for the kid alone. I'm sorry Yondaime Hokage for I have failed you until now. But I will not repeat my mistake. I have to find someone who can protect as well as train him. And there is one person that's perfectly suited for the job, a smirk forming across his face as he thought. Through the windows, rays of sunlight shone upon a bed as dawn emerged. Usually, a young blonde child is seen here wearing night clothes and a wallen-like cap holding his pillow tightly as if it was the last thing he could hold onto in this uncaring world. But today, well, the bed was empty. Instead, he could be seen lying on the floor in a deep sleep with a drool hanging around the corner of his mouth. Around him numerous scrolls could be seen opened showing that he was training the past few days regularly day and night. Probably feel asleep then and there from exhaustion. As the light rays hit his eyes, he started to wake up. Why ya? What time is it? When did I fall asleep? He yawned as he sat upright. The clock on his bedside table showed the time to be 9:20 a.m. Guess I overslept. I have to go train again so I better get ready super fast, said Naruto as he got up to do his morning routine. At Hokage's office, the Sandaime Hokage was seated at his place working on the only thing that didn't ever seem to end regardless of how much or how fast he tried to complete it. Paperwork. And it was filled with all sorts of crap. To his nuisance, many were directed upon Naruto. These included locking him in a cage, dropping him in the forest, and some even went as far as to have him shut up for good or disposed somewhere anonymously. He would have immediately sent Anbu to retrieve these people, but ironically, these were applications under false name and details not to reveal their true identity. The applications named to the Hokage were always sent to him as a rule so that no corruption on the lower levels can take place or that any information might not be sabotaged. At the moment, there was nothing he could do about it. Being a Hokage is far more boring than it looks like. Well, by miracle, if something interesting happens, he might be relieved of this even for a short while. Suddenly, he heard sounds outside his office. Wait please. We can't let you in without his permission. Sorry Abu, Crash. Sandaime Hokage is working at the moment. Please don't distu. Thud. The door of his office flung open and there stood the person he had contacted just a few days ago. He could also see one other person standing behind, and the two Anbu guards who were supposed to keep watch at the gate could be seen piled up on one another crashed at the wall. You better have a good goddamn reason for calling me here, Sarutobi-sensei, came a voice from the far end. I was expecting you soon. Although I didn't expect you to be this excited being here, Tsunade, he smirked. The person walking towards him could be seen as a lady appearing to be in mid-30s with silky flowing light blonde hair with two braids behind her head. She had a pretty face with dark brown eyes and her lips so pink you couldn't tell if it was lip gloss. In addition to that, a rhombus-shaped mark on her forehead made her look a lot more cuter. She wore a gray-colored kimono-type sleeveless blouse and a waistband which matched her pants, on top of which was a loose green-colored haori. To other people, especially men, however, the most distinguishable feature of hers was two very large-sized curves on her chest, between which a green necklace was kept in place from both sides and hanging from her neck. Hell, few men wished for God to reincarnate them as that necklace in their next life. This was one of the legendary Sannin, Queen of Slugs, granddaughter of Shadaime Hokage and a master of medical ninjutsu who also happens to be one of Sandaime's students, Lady Tsunade. She took a seat in front of the Hokage while the person behind her closed the door and stood behind her seat. She was a younger woman in comparison who appeared to be in early 20s. She had jet black hair which covered her ears and reached up to neck length, and her eyes were as black as her hair. She wore a full-sleeved black kimono. She held a plump pig in her folded arms which was Tsunade's pet. Her name was Shizune and she was Tsunade's apprentice as well as assistant. The name of the pet was Tauntaun. He motioned for the Anbu in his office of leave and they complied, after which he raised up a privacy seal. What's up with the suspense? Spill it out already, asked an impatient Tsunade. What I'm about to ask you is a favor, Tsunade. It is more personal than professional, you could say, explained the Hokage. You know about the child that saved the village on that night, I suppose, he said. Yeah, what about him? She arched her brows as she asked. Apparently, many of the villagers still bear a grudge against him. He has faced many hardships, from being overcharged for goods to being beaten badly. I placed Anbu for his protection, but it seems that it is not quite enough now. I was negligent over this before and I realize my fault. I cannot change the past, but I must make amends for the future, he explained. Her heart skipped a beat upon hearing about the boy, but still she kept her composure and asked him, although she knew which direction the conversation was going into. And what role do I have in this matter, if I may ask? I need you to take the boy away from this place for some time so that he can train properly and is able to protect himself when the time comes. Given his state, sooner or later there surely will be people after him for the power he possesses, he explained. What do I look like, a babysitter to you? Why don't you ask somebody else to do it? She said as she turned her head and folded her hands. Tsunade, that boy has never experienced the love and care of a family. As Hokage, there is very little I can do for him myself. And in my eyes there is no one more qualified to train him outside of the village, he said. What about the council and the elders? Didn't they oppose it or something? She inquired. Nobody except for those in this room know about this. Should you accept this, then I'll take care of whoever poses a problem. I'm the Hokage, for Kami's sake I don't have to listen to every blabbering mouth, he finished. I need to see this for myself, so I need some time. I'll be leaving for now. Do you know his whereabouts? The boy, I mean, she said. This is the location of his house. But as far as I can tell, he might be training somewhere in the grounds, he said, remembering about the scrolls he gave the boy just a few days ago and also the talk he had yesterday. Very well, come on Shizune, we're out of here, she said as she stood up and turned to leave the room with a closely following Shizune. Flashback. Yesterday, at Hokage's office, I have brought him here as you directed, Hokage-sama, and Anbu kneeled in front of the Hokage. Thank you, Hawk. You can leave now. Rest of you may also leave, the Hokage said. He then set up a privacy barrier. Why did you call me here, Gigi? He asked innocently. Let's just say I have a surprise for you. So what I wanted to ask was, what would you want to have if somebody gave you a gift? He asked, smiling. I would want a friend, he said with a glint of hope in his eyes. Ha ha ha, I hope an old man isn't enough these days, huh? He said, hoping to have some fun with the little kid. No, it's not that. I mean, that wasn't what I meant. I mean, he rubbed the back of his head uncomfortably. Don't sweat it, boy, I'm just messing with you, he said to the relief of Naruto. So what is this surprise again that you were saying? He asked. It isn't a surprise if you know beforehand, Naruto. And I'm not sure what it will be either, to be honest. It'll be a surprise to me too how the events unfold, he said. Huh, what's that supposed to mean? Naruto asked. Never mind me, so tell me, what have you been doing these past few days? Any problems with the villagers again? He asked. No, Gigi, the masked people scare them off, so I'm okay. And also I've been training in the grounds since you gave me the scrolls. I can't wait to show you how much I have learned, it's so exciting, he told excitedly. He could see the excitement as well as the wear and tear that could be seen on his clothes and well as scratches on his hands. The more I think about the matter, the more I think I did the right thing. Just wait a little more, boy, you will surely appreciate it, he chuckled internally. Can you please lend me some more scrolls, Gigi? I want to read more about them, he asked. I'm sure you would like that. But more importantly, Naruto, listen to this. You need to complete the basics before you move on to the next level. If your basics aren't strong, then nothing advanced can be learned properly. On the contrary, if you master the basics, then you can use them in every technique you learn. Think of them as the foundation upon which a great monument stands strong, the Hokage explained. Oh, now I understand. I will master the basics as soon as I can, said Naruto, giving his signature grin. Very well then, Naruto, I think I'll have to get back to work. Good luck on your training, he said. Okay, later Gigi. See ya, said Naruto as he stormed off excitedly for probably another round of training. Somewhere outside the village. I can't believe I have to go back to that village again. And on top of that, I don't even know the reason I'm going there. I swear if the old man doesn't give me a good reason to have me summoned there, I'll make sure he regrets it every day of his life. The blonde lady said. Please calm down, Lady Tsunade. Hokage-sama must have a good reason to call you. And we'll reach it by tomorrow morning, so there's no need to worry. We have to be just a little more patient, said her assistant, trying to calm her down. Oink oink. The pig said oinked. In affirmation. Flashback ends. What a boring old place this is. It doesn't even have a tavern. I wanted to blow off some steam, and who knows when we'll get the chance to be in a tavern again, Tsunade said. What do you mean by that, my lady? Does that mean you're going to accept Lord Hokage's proposal? Shizune gave a sly smile. Well, I mean, I don't know for sure. We'll see about that later, she said. They dawdled around a bit in the village, after which they decided to take a look at Naruto's home since there was nothing interesting around the village. The Sandaime Hokage was very strict about the people, especially children, picking up bad habits such as gambling. Naruto's apartment. When they saw the locked door, they realized that the Hokage was indeed telling the truth when he said that he'd be out training somewhere. Shizune opened the door using the spare key that the Hokage had given them to look at the place in case Naruto wasn't around. As they had a look around, they found it giving a nasty vibe, to be precise, in one word, uncomfortable. The walls of the place were pale and gloomy and had cracks all over, and there was only one window in the bedroom. Other than that, it was almost too dark to see. There was one small table on which empty instant ramen cups were scattered. Overall, it looked like it had seen a war or something like that. These weren't proper living conditions for a young child who didn't even have parents or anybody to look out for. Except for that, he had kept the place as tidy as it could be. There wasn't dirt or a mess anywhere except for the ramen, and the bed was properly made. There wasn't a refrigerator, so he'd have to buy and eat things as early as possible, such as milk. As they were checking around, they lost track of time. Suddenly the door flinged open and Naruto barged right in. Who are you people? And why are you in my home? Don't tell me they sent you to put explosive paper here again, he exclaimed. Oh, so that's why these walls were cracked and ruined. Damn those villagers, how awful. Both of them thought. Shizune gasped at the statement and tried to calm him down before things escalated further. Please don't get us wrong. We don't mean any harm. We'll leave right away, right, my lady? Meanwhile, Tsunade frowned at the statement once but then observed the boy who was standing in front of her. He had blonde hair much brighter than her own. There were whisker marks on his cheeks courtesy of the nine-tailed fox, she presumed. He was wearing a green-sleeved t-shirt which was oversized for him, on which a relatively small white t-shirt with a red swirl on front and the back. He had regular blue pants on with a pair of old shoes. Around the waist was a pack which contained various scrolls protruding out from them. Overall, he looked worn out from all that training, but the look in his eyes said otherwise. He had ocean blue eyes just like his father, but at the moment which seemed to be changing shades. Was it actually happening, or was her mind playing tricks on her? Anyways, by the look in his eyes he looked both angry and scared. He was terrified that one of the villagers was here to hurt him yet again. Tsunade walked up to him and embraced him in a tight hug. Don't worry, kid, we're not here to hurt you, she said. He couldn't shake off the feeling initially that something could go wrong. After all, many of the villagers played pranks and attacks on him after faking their character and befriending him, so he was wary. But then slowly his heart seemed to melt as what he felt was genuine warmth and affection. This was something he could do since he could remember, of which the reason he never knew. Okay, I know that you're not here with any ill intentions, but I still don't understand why are you here in the first place, he asked innocently after leaving the embrace. Well, actually we were looking for someone who could be our friend, and then Lord Hokage told us that you'd be willing, so he gave us the spare key, she said, smiling. He suddenly remembered that the old man was talking about some surprise and friends. Maybe this was it, he was talking about them. Suddenly his face lit up with newfound energy and he asked them. Yes, yes, definitely. Would you like to be my friend? He asked. Of course. Now let me introduce myself. My name is Tsunade. And let me introduce my companions too. This is Shizune and this is my pet Taunton, she said. Nice to meet you. Shizune faltered. Naruto. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, Dadbeo, he exclaimed. Haha. Nice to meet you, Naruto, said Shizune. Oink oink, said Taunton. Nice to meet you all. This is the first time I've talked to somebody except for the old man. I'm so excited. Will you stay here tonight? I have a few premium ramen cups that I saved just in case I make a friend. We will have fun, said Naruto excitedly, somehow losing all the fatigue that he got through the day. They smiled at the young boy's antics but had to refuse his offer. We're sorry, Naruto, we can't stay. We are staying somewhere else, but we'll meet again soon. That's a promise, she said. I thought we can have fun since we are friends now. But if you promise, then I'll hold on to it, he smiled. As a parting gift for now, there's something I want to give you, Naruto. Here, take it, Shizune said as she handed him a scroll. When he opened it, he saw a hollow diagram at the center of the scroll. What does it do? I can't read anything on it except for this, which I can't understand, said Naruto, pointing out. It's a sealing scroll, Naruto. I suppose you are able to infuse chakra even though a little. He nodded. Good, that means now you can use that training. So all you have to do is put some chakra on the seal and you can easily store your other scrolls in here. As I see, your waist pack is almost about to burst from all those scrolls, she said. He took a look at the scroll and then Shizune and then the scroll again. Suddenly he jumped on Shizune and hugged her. Thank you very much, it is awesome, he said, squashing Taunton in between. As he lost grip, he suddenly fell to the floor unconscious. Looks like he's been training all day and must be exhausted. Let's put him to sleep and leave Shizune. I've made up my mind, Tsunade said as she healed him up a bit. They put him to bed and took a cue to leave. As they were leaving, Tsunade couldn't help but take a look at the sleeping boy. She could not forget the smile he had formed for the rest of the day. She walked somewhere in a hotel in Konoha. Get ready, Shizune. We'll be leaving Konoha tomorrow noon, said Tsunade. But what about Naruto, my lady? What are you going to do about the offer Lord Hokage made to you? A concerned Shizune asked. Tsunade looked at her with an all-knowing smile on her face. You tell me, Shizune. Do I look like I have any doubts about this? She spoke with a look of pure determination on her eyes. It was another fine morning in the village hidden in the leaves. People were going out for their respective workplaces, ninjas were going out on missions, and little kids were playing games in the playground. The office of the Hokage was working as usual, with the head of the office sitting behind a pile of rubbish, paperwork, when someone entered through the door. He looked up through the pile of papers to find that it was Naruto. Good morning, Gigi, wished Naruto. Good morning, Naruto. What brings you here so early today, my boy? Questioned the Hokage, although he had a good idea what it was about. As Naruto started talking with the Hokage, the Anbu present took their leave from the attic, as they had prior orders that any conversation regarding Naruto is to be confidential so as not to leak any sort of information by anyone in any condition. I made friends for the first time in my life, exclaimed Naruto. Knowing Tsunade, I see the meeting went even better than I expected, the Hokage thought. Oh, is that so? Might I ask who might be these friends of yours? He said. There were 3 people. Well, 2 people actually and 1 pet. And their names were Lady Tsunade, Shizune and Taunton, he said. And you know at first I thought that it was all my imagination, but, Naruto started explaining. Flashback. Naruto woke up early in the morning. He felt energized as if his strength was restored completely and his body was devoid of any bruises or scratches which he had suffered during the training the previous day. He wondered why. Then suddenly he remembered that some people were here yesterday. He jumped from the bed and wandered around the house in hopes of finding them or if there was any message left for him. He couldn't find any clue showing that they were here. The place was the same gloomy dark corner it has always been. So it was just a dream after all. Silly me, to think that somebody would be my friend, he thought out loud. He went to freshen up and do his daily morning chores before heading out to train. Yosh, I'm gonna show everyone that I'm worthy enough to be acknowledged. I will become Hokage someday, Datbeo, he forcefully cheered up himself as he went to grab his training material. He reached for the scrolls but to his surprise he found only one and it wasn't one of his scrolls. It presented a peculiar design and a nicely tied butterfly-shaped thread around it. The memory of this particular scroll from last night flashed in his mind and a really large grin spread across his face. It was true. It was all real. I wasn't dreaming. They were here last night. He jumped in happiness as he sprinted towards the Hokage Tower excitedly. Flashback over. And that's why I got here as fast as I could to tell you, finished Naruto. Haha, looks like you have had quite an eventful time, said Hokage. Yes, but now they are gone and I don't know where. I wish I could have spent some more time with them or at least said goodbye, he said with a saddened expression. Unknown to him, they weren't alone in that room. Do you really think that a friend would do such a thing? I thought you know better than that. A new yet familiar voice came. Naruto turned around only to find that the voice belonged to none other than Tsunade. The 2-3 but the pet is on the lap of them were sitting on the couch beside the cupboard in the shadows. To say surprised was an understatement. He was overwhelmed with joy as well. The ones who called him his friends, the ones who he initially thought were maybe only an imagination, the ones who he thought had left him were here right in front of him now. You guys, I thought you left without meeting me. But I'm so happy that I was wrong. Naruto started wiping the tears forming in his eyes. The two of them could not help but smile at the boy's actions. They expected him as the Hokage told them the first thing in the morning he was going to do was come here. A little surprise was in queue after that. So this was the surprise you were talking about, Gigi. It was one of the best I've had in my life. Thank you very much, said Naruto. Yes, but actually, the Hokage tried to say but was instantly overshadowed by Naruto's constant load of talk that he dumped upon his friends out of overexcitement. So now what can we do today? I can show you around if you like. We can go to Ichiraku's ramen, he has the best in the entire village. If we can spare time maybe we can do a little training too and you can help me. I know you are ninjas since you gave me this storage scroll. Quote. As he blabbered on he was cut off by Tsunade. She walked up to him along with Shizune. Naruto, shut up and listen to me, she ordered. He was a bit taken aback by the change of behavior but still complied. We are going to be leaving Konoha today itself, Naruto. No time to be roaming around, she said. He was disappointed at the sudden revelation and felt a lump forming in his throat. He expected them to spend a little more time with him before parting ways. It's okay, I understand. You must also have some work that you have to do. I'm happy that at least I will be able to say goodbye, he said. Before anyone could say any further, the Hokage intervened to complete his previous statement. I'm afraid that you've got it wrong, Naruto. Meeting them was not the surprise I was talking about. You can say it was a part of it but not the actual one, he said. What do you mean, old man Hokage? I can't understand any of it. He tilted his head and grazed his hair at the back of his head with a confused look. He then saw the faces of the people on the other side of the room who were also smiling, which confused him even more. What I mean is that the surprise is yet to be given to you. Just think of meeting them before now as a bonus, Hokage said. Great, if this was a bonus, the real one will be awesome, I just know it. Now come on, tell me or I'll die of the excitement before I even hear it, said Naruto. The group chuckled at the restlessness of the boy. Ahem, I think that it's better if your friends reveal it to you themselves, he said, although he wanted to disclose it himself to see the child's soon-to-be happy face. Naruto turned towards the other members in the room with glittering eyes. You, Naruto, are invited to go on a journey with us outside the village, Tsunade told him. Silence. It was something he couldn't process that quickly and easily in his mind. Sure, he thought that the surprise would be good, hell, it would be great. But his expectations were a bit different. Maybe they'll take him to a restaurant for dinner and play with him when they come back next time. Or they'll give him another cool thing such as that storage scroll they gave him before they go. But this was beyond his farthest expectations to a great degree due to many reasons. First, he wasn't allowed anywhere outside the village due to any reason because of who he was. Moreover, they just became friends with him. Why would they want to risk themselves with him and take his responsibility? It didn't make sense at all. He just couldn't let his hopes up yet. There has to be some kind of reason that the people of this village will give to make him stay here. He tried to be optimistic, but the truth was that the fear inside him couldn't help but always think of the negative outcomes that always occurred to him. What happened, Naruto? Do you want to go with them or not? Asked the Hokage. But Gigi, what about the rule that I'm not allowed to go outside the village? He turned and asked with hesitation. Don't worry about it even for a second. I'm the Hokage, I make the rules and I'll make sure that nobody gets in your way of whatever you wish to do at this point. Besides, that rule was because of the need of your protection. You might not know it yet, but these people here are quite strong and are more than capable of ensuring your safety. This is your decision alone. Should you accept their offer, there is nobody that would interfere with it, he assured. He turned and looked at Tsunade in the eyes. There was no doubt or hesitation in that decision which her eyes showed. It was a solemn look with a slight smile that filled his heart with affection. He ran and jumped into her arms, clutching tightly onto her clothes and started crying. Tsunade wasn't expecting such an emotional outbreak in the kid. She thought that he'll happily just agree to go with her. She looked down to have a clear look at him. Naruto was letting out all of his emotions in the form of tears. He never had any parents to take care of him. He had never experienced what it was like to have someone to take care of you. Sure, the Hokage was keeping an eye out for him, but there was only so much he could do for him by himself. It made this invitation far more comforting to him than it would have. Now he could have people with him. In addition to that, he won't be pestered by those villagers as long as he's away, and he was sure that nobody would care either way. They'd be glad to get rid of him. She held him close and let him cry all out until he calmed down. She guessed the reply quite well from the reaction but had to confirm. So what will it be? Do you want to come with us? She asked. He wiped out his tears and replied, there's nothing more in the world that I would want right now, with a really huge grin on his face. This is the best ever surprise you or anyone has ever gave me. Arigato, Gigi, he told the Hokage as he went to hug him lightly. You have no idea how much weight your words lift up from my heart, my child, the Hokage thought. Don't mention it, Naruto, it's the least I could do for you, he said, smiling. The group on the other side nodded their heads with a content smile. It was all good to go now. Now that it's settled, you'll be leaving at noon. So there's not much time before you have to get going. I suggest you get back at your place and pack up your stuff, Naruto. I'll make all the arrangements. You have to be here in an hour and a half. Here is your next month's allowance, if you need anything specific before your trip, he said. Before anyone could say anything, the Hokage spoke with a serious tone. All of you must know already, but this is something I have to tell you as it is my duty. The fact that you're going on a journey with Tsunade is to be kept a secret from anybody and everybody outside this room, from any of you. If anybody needs to know, it's only me who can disclose it. I hereby am announcing it to be an S-rank confidential information. Especially you, Naruto, have to remember this. He nodded his head and gulped. The Hokage was always nice to him, but if he spoke in this manner, then it must be someone very important. Very well then, you may go now, he said. Scene break. Time skip. Naruto went straight to home and started preparing for his upcoming journey. He was excited and nervous at the same time, but wasn't afraid. After all, he wasn't alone now, which was the greatest change. He had people he could rely upon. He started packing all the things he would need for the journey. Backpack, check. Clothes, check. Toothbrush, check. Scrolls, check. Food, no check. He forgot ramen. He had only a few left since he ate a lot after he trained. He just had to get more of them. He had developed a habit of it and he just couldn't suddenly drop it. Although he'd miss Ichiraku's special, but still instant ramen would have to do. He ran out of his house at full speed. He was going to get all the ramen he could while keeping a fair amount left for later. All these times made him keep a track of his finances and not spend them unnecessarily. He also wanted to say goodbye to old man Tuki, but also remembered the promise made to Hokage not to tell anyone the details. Well, I'll figure a way out somehow, he thought. Scene break. Office of the Hokage. A conversation was going on between the teacher and student. Her assistant had gone to pack up their stuff. Although now it would seem that it was about to end. From today on, I give you the responsibility of raising this child Tsunade. I have far too many regrets that I can't redeem just yet. I feel as if I have failed the fourth until now. I'll be assigning this as an S-rank mission and also your pay will be sent accordingly. I have a feeling that this one mission will be crucial as it will play a huge role as to how the future of the Hidden Leaf Village will turn out to be. I leave the rest in your hands, the Hokage said. I fully understand that well, Sarutobi-sensei. I'll do the best that I can to protect and train him. I'll take my leave now with your permission. I'll see you later when we leave the village, she said. He nodded. She stood up and walked towards the door to leave, but not without saying one last thing. Also, I don't need that S-rank mission pay. For all I know, I'd gamble it away like always. It would be better if you make a separate account for Naruto and deposit them into that. After all, this mission is about him, she said. He just chuckled in confirmation. She has become too indulged in bad activities and habits such as drinking and gambling after the loss of her loved ones and leaving the village. Maybe this is a good opportunity for her too to find someone she can live her life and care for, leaving those habits behind. I hope this journey turns out for the best of everyone, he thought as she left. Scene break. Time skip. As Naruto neared the ramen stall, he saw a duo of ninjas standing there. Their attire showed that they were chunin and considerably tired from the looks. He was in the range of hearing of their conversation. Man, it sure was a long mission. I'm starving like hell. Hey, don't bring that up now. We're in front of Ichiraku's ramen. This place is a paradise for food. We're gonna eat till night. Yeah, I can't wait a second longer now, come on. As he was going to go inside the stall, his partner stopped him. Wait up, see that? He's that brat. Come on, I don't wanna be anywhere near him. Let's go somewhere else. Huh, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have gone even an inch without having my food, but this surely makes an exception. Let's go. Naruto flinched at their talk and felt bad for the stall owner because he was the reason why many of his customers didn't eat at his shop. In addition to those losses, Naruto wasn't even able to pay him for his own meals sometimes, due to the fact that every other shopkeeper ripped him off a lot of money. As he entered the stall, he was greeted by the store owner, Tuki. Morning, Naruto. How've you been? Been a few days since you last had ramen. You want a bowl of Naruto special? He asked. This man had always given him food for free when he was hungry. When he asked how should he repay him for the meal, the man always replied with, "The happiness on your face after eating my ramen is the best payment I can ask for. Eat as much as you want." And Naruto couldn't do anything but thank him for his kindness. After not hearing an answer, Tsuki looked up at him and found him staring at him. "Hey, sit down, kid. You gonna order something or stand here all day?" he asked. Yeah, I was just here to buy the instant ramen cups, ya know," Naruto said. "Oh, no Ichiraku's ramen then. No big deal, you can come by later whenever you want," the owner said. "Wait, on a second thought, I wouldn't be able to come here again for quite some time. Might as well have a bowl. Also, I would be able to talk easily if I'm not in a hurry," Naruto thought. "I guess I'll have a bowl after all," said Naruto with a smile. "One bowl Naruto special coming right up," announced the owner. After a few minutes, it was served and Naruto started eating slowly while the owner finished packing up his instant noodles. He put the pack beside Naruto and told him that it was all done, to which he got no reply. He watched Naruto eating slowly, which was unusual, and he also didn't talk much today. There was something on his mind and Tsuki knew it. He decided to ask him, "Hey kid, something on your mind? You're not your usual self today," he asked. Yeah, there was something I wanted to tell you, Oji-san. I won't be able to come here for quite some time. That's all I can tell you. I'll miss you and this ramen so much," Naruto told him. He frowned at the statement but knew that it was something that the boy couldn't disclose. Being around ninjas so much had made him observant in a lot of ways. "Just tell me this, will you be okay, and are you going wherever you will by your own choice?" asked Tsuki. "Yeah, believe it, and I am very happy to be able to do that. You don't have to worry about me. And whatever else you want to know, only Gigi can tell you," said Naruto with a huge smile. "So, it's Hokage-sama who is sending him somewhere. I don't have to worry at all then, I suppose. Also, he looks quite happy and I've never seen him like that," he thought. With all the talks with Naruto, he had come to understand that Naruto affectionately called the Hokage as Gigi, as he was probably the only one who took care of Naruto and considered him as family. When Naruto finished up his bowl, he put the money on the counter for the bill when another large bowl of hot ramen appeared before him. He was confused and looked up at the stall owner. "This one's on the house. I wish you a very happy journey, Naruto," said the owner with a genuine smile. Naruto thanked him rather excitedly and hugged him goodbye after finishing up the ramen. With that, he ran towards his home with the ramen cups to pack up whatever was left and leave for his upcoming journey. Scene break time skip. Naruto entered the office of the Hokage with a rather large-sized backpack behind him for his size. At first the Hokage thought of asking him but then waved it off. "All right, you've come just on time, Naruto. Ready to get going?" he asked. "Yeah, I sure am, but where are the others?" Naruto said as he looked around the room. "They have already left the village borders without you so as to not raise suspicions. I will be sending somebody to escort you secretly outside the village where you can meet them," said the Hokage as he summoned an Anbu. A man with a dog mask appeared. "Inu-san, I see it's you. Will you be taking me there?" asked Naruto. He was a fairly built man with shining silver hair around the mask, wearing a sleeveless dress and an Anbu symbol on his left arm. On his back was a medium-sized sword. He had also kept watch on Naruto on a few occasions before along with the other Anbu. He ignored Naruto's question and bowed before the Hokage. "Greetings, Hokage-sama. How may I be of assistance today?" asked the Anbu. Naruto frowned at the cold attitude of this Anbu. He had always been like this since Naruto met him. It looked like he was just a robot following orders around without a hint of humanity or emotion. Inu was quite the polar opposite of Neko, or so Naruto thought. Yes, this pun was definitely intended. "Hello Inu, I have a mission today that I can only trust you to do. That's why I had you summoned here. It is a part of a top-secret mission that is to be kept confidential. You are not to utter a single word to anyone about this task," Is that clear? Said the Hokage. Crystal, replied the Anbu in a single word with a monotonous voice. Listen closely. Your mission is to escort this child here outside the village at this precise position. The crucial part is that no one should get even a hint that he is being taken outside of the village. Once you have completed the mission, you may return back to the village, explained the Hokage while handing a piece of paper which was probably a map with the location specified. Understood, was the only reply he got from him. He walked up to Naruto and grabbed him and slumped him on his shoulder. I'll take my leave. Please excuse me, he said. Hey wait, at least let me say goodbye. Naruto couldn't finish his plea as the Anbu shunshined away. I hope everything goes smoothly, said the Hokage out loud to no one in particular. Scene break. Time skip. Somewhere in a forest outside Konoha. They were finally at the specified position outside the village in a deep forest area. Upon reaching the place, the Anbu found a hollow tree trunk in which a mark was drawn identical to that on the map given to him. It was a real nuisance for him to have the kid comply with him. It was a mission which required stealth for Kami's sake, and this kid won't stop bugging him over and over about something or the other which he totally ignored. Upon confirming the destination, he dropped Naruto from his shoulders gently at the spot. He turned to go back to the village but was stopped by Naruto's voice. Wait, please, are you going to leave me here alone? I'm scared to be all by myself like this, he said. He could have ignored him like always, but something told him that he should at least give a reply this time. My orders were to escort you here and then leave immediately. You don't need to worry though. You just have to believe whatever Hokage-sama is planning must be in the best interest of you and the village, he said. It wasn't a very sympathetic reply, but considering who the person was, it was more than enough. Okay, I'll stay here. Arigato, Inu-san. See you later, said Naruto. With this, the Anbu ninja took his leave and returned to the Leaf Village. Time skip. It had been some time since he was left alone here in the middle of a forest. It was natural to be a little afraid in this environment, but he didn't feel any fear in contrast to what he told the Anbu. Instead, he felt more peace than he ever did. Around him were small animals searching for food, birds chirping at their nests. He felt as if he was one with nature. There were no more villagers who hated him, no more icy cold stares, no more attacks, no more pranks. He had people who cared for him and he was going to go with them on a journey. All he had to do was keep patience until somebody came to get him. He heard someone approach him, but he didn't go out to who it was. After all, if this was the place where they'd get him, then he couldn't go anywhere far from this place. As he was waiting, a brunette woman whom he couldn't identify appeared in front of the tree along with a cat beside her. He was surprised that someone else found him, as the Hokage had made a lot of measures to prevent him being detected. Oh no, I've been found. I have to run and hide somewhere nearby to avoid them until somebody comes to get me, he thought as his body tensed up. Hey Naruto, I hope you're alright. I had a hard time scouting the area for enemies before I came to get you, she said. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. He never met this lady, but somehow her voice was familiar. Oh, I forgot you can't detect transformations yet. I had to transform so that if any enemy was around he couldn't identify me. Here, I'll release it now. Kai, was the only thing he heard before a cloud of smoke appeared and the two figures in front to him changed. They were none other than Shizune and Taunton. It's you guys. You've finally come to get me. And what was that amazing technique? I couldn't even identify you, Naruto said. She couldn't help but laugh at the excited boy's face. But this was not the time for that. Come on, Naruto. We've got go to Lady Tsunade. They're waiting for us not far away from here, she said as she held him and shunshined away. Wait, who are they? I thought there would only be one person waitin', said Naruto as he was once again cut off from completing his sentence. As they reached the location, they saw two figures standing. There was no delay in identifying both of them for Naruto. However, One was unexpected to be there, yet Naruto was happy he was. "I see you've finally reached, Naruto," he said. "Gigi, you're here. How did you reach here so fast? And why? I thought you would have stayed at the village," he asked. "How I came here, you ask? I have my ways, boy. And as for why, I can't let you go without a proper goodbye, right?" said the Hokage. Naruto embraced him and thanked him for coming here. "I expect you to be gone for quite some time, but don't forget to keep in touch," he said, smiling. "We will." Lady Tsunade finally spoke up. As they bade their goodbyes and left, the Hokage saw Naruto's hand holding Tsunade's, which made him content. "I may not have been able to save your parents or care for you, for which I truly regret. But I hope that during these travels you will experience the feeling of having a family, even if it's little. I wish you the very best, for your future as well as the future of Konoha," he thought. "And me, well, I guess I'll just have to get back to paperwork," he said out loud in frustration. Scene break. Time skip. At Hokage's office. "What the hell do you mean that the Nine-Tails brat has been sent out of the village somewhere?" a feminine voice erupted. "Yes, this is a very serious matter, Hiruzen. Call him back immediately," a similar masculine voice came. "I believe that what they are saying right, Lord Hokage. This is a matter that concerns the safety of the village itself. If not anything else, tell us where is his location so that we can send additional protection if required." This voice was calmer than the other two. "Shut the hell up, each and every one of you," the Hokage said with a stern, commanding voice. All of them kept quiet after sensing that killing intent radiating off the annoyed old man. He calmed down after that. "First of all, I'm the Hokage, and nobody, including both of you, Koharu and Homura, can give me orders on what I should or should not do," said the Hokage, looking at the former two with a harsh voice. "And as for you, Danzo, I'm well aware of the situation, and I have taken steps keeping in my mind the safety of the village first and foremost. I don't need to send any reinforcements for his protection. He is quite very well protected," he said. "As for his location, it is a confidential information that I refrain from disclosing to anybody. So I don't want any of you asking for it, and also forbid you to talk about this matter to anyone else outside this room," he added. Both the counselors shuddered at his tone and anger. They nodded quickly, realizing it could turn bad for them. Danzo, on the other hand, was annoyed that something this important slipped by him and is now unable to get anything out of the Hokage either, but knew well that pushing it won't do him any good. He nodded to the Hokage reluctantly. "Damn you, Hiruzen, you pulled a fast one on me. I won't forget this. I will know what you're planning sooner or later," he thought. With that, all of them left the office of the Hokage. The Hokage relaxed after being in that heated discussion for the last half an hour, which seemed like eternity. It all started after a few days of Naruto's departure, when someone tipped off Danzo that the Nine-Tails kid had disappeared from the village without a trace and the Hokage was somehow involved. Upon finding out, he informed both the counselors to have them force the Hokage to give out information or pull back his plan. After a long patient description of what should have made them understood about letting him handle things, they instead started shouting on him for acting up on his own. That was when he lost his patience and shut them up. "Well, this was harder than I thought. Anyways, it's all over now. They won't disturb me again soon. I wonder what Naruto and the others would be doing," he thought as he started sorting out the paperwork again. It was another quiet day. Somewhere in a forest in the outskirts of Konoha lay a single person rested against the hollow bark of a tree from the inside. He remembered the time when he was here in this very tree quite a long time ago, when he set out for his journey. He was cherishing the peace that nature had bestowed upon the earth and all its creatures. Each creature having its own role to play in the eternal cycle of life. Plants and trees all around in the surrounding gave him a great sense of happiness and security. Why? He didn't know for sure. Maybe because he was born here. Or maybe because that he had traveled to so much places that being back made him euphoric. Or maybe because something inside him was different from the other people. No matter how long he sat there, he didn't want to leave the place, such was its calming effect. Although, his wish didn't come true as he sensed someone approach the place. His muscles tensed up a little subconsciously. It was just a reflex that occurred whenever someone unknown approached. He was taught to be cautious every time. Although this person wasn't unknown, his senses told him that the feeling it gave was familiar. He didn't have much time to guess as the figure reached the destination, which was exactly in front of the tree he was resting in. He took a good look at the person. It didn't take any time to realize now why the chakra felt familiar. The person was wearing the traditional Anbu attire with a long sword tied at the back with a face mask. The most distinguishable feature, although, was the long violet hair that flowed beside that cat-faced mask. "I'm here to retrieve you and escort you to the village," she said in the usual Anbu monotone. "Long time no see, Neko-chan. I missed you. But why this cold attitude?" the boy asked. "Why should I welcome you when you didn't even come to say goodbye? Do you know how worried I was at first until I approached Hokage-sama about your disappearance? I could only get little relief when he said that he sent you somewhere but still couldn't disclose any details," she said with a little emotion returning to her voice at the last statement. He could have almost seen her pouting if not for that mask. "Hehe, I'm sorry Neko-chan. But there wasn't much time given to me before I had to leave. And with all the secrecy, I couldn't wander about to find you without arousing suspicions," he explained. "Very well, I think I'll forgive you this time. But next time whenever something like this happens, you better tell me beforehand. And also, I missed you too," she said after contemplating for a second. "That's more like it. I think we should get going now, or otherwise I'll get another scolding for being late. The others must have already reached before and must be waiting," he said. She smiled behind that mask at the boy because she was happy for him to be back. "Of course," was the only response. With that they set out in the direction of the village. Flashback. At Hokage's office. "You summoned me, Hokage-sama?" asked the Anbu. "Ah, Neko-chan. Yes, I have a mission for you," he said. "At your service," she said simply. "You are to escort someone back to the village. It is very important though that you bring him here undetected. You might be interested in who you're going to be bringing back," he said as she could see a very tiny smirk forming on his face. "I could have read the details in the mission folder, Hokage-sama, but if you are specifically bringing it up then he must be very important," she said with a slight confusion. "Maybe this will help a bit," he said as he took out a photo of the person and showed it to her. She couldn't help but gasp at the realization. He was being brought back to Konoha. After all this time, she had lots of questions regarding him but couldn't just jump at the Hokage with them. It was in the code of the shinobi not to question the motives or reasons regarding any mission. If anything, it applied even more to the Anbu Black Ops. He was the Hokage for Kami's sake, after all. Whatever he did was considered in the best interests of the village without any question. The Hokage observed her hesitation and smiled to make her more comfortable and gestured her to sit down. He went on to explain briefly how he had been sent on a journey to see the world. When asked who was with him, as if on cue, the Sannin along with her assistant entered the room. She was satisfied and happy that she'll get to see the boy again. Although, she did want to give him a good earful when she met him. Flashback ends. Finally, it feels so good to be back, he thought as they were on the way towards his home. Yup, it had been 3 years since he left the village to set out on a journey and now he was back. Naruto Uzumaki had returned to Konohagakure no Sato. Time skip. At Hokage's office. TCK. The clock ticked away loudly, showing how silent the room was. The Anbu guards had already been sent away. The persons who were seated there had already exchanged greetings and were currently waiting for someone to arrive. Some were waiting calmly while someone was getting impatient. "Damn, where is that brat? He should have been here by now," she said. "Please calm down, my lady. He must be reaching anytime now," said Shizune. She's right, Ba-chan. You don't have to wait anymore. A new voice emerged. All of them looked towards the window behind and to the left of Hokage. As expected, Naruto was crouching on the window pane with a hand above his head as a friendly greeting gesture. Over the years in their travels, Naruto had become close to both of the women, and the pet of course, so he affectionately called them as Ba-chan and Nei-chan. Ohaya gozaimasu, Gigi, I missed you so much, said Naruto. Ohayou, it's great to see you too, Naruto. It didn't seem as lively here without you, my boy, the Hokage chuckled. He jumped inside followed by the cat-masked Anbu. Mission accomplished, Hokage-sama. No complications along the way. May I take leave now? She asked. Good work as always, Neko. And yes, you may leave. I'll sign the mission report later, he said. She bowed her head and disappeared using the body flicker technique. Turning to Naruto, the Hokage took a closer look at him now that he was standing in front of him. He was no longer the little boy like the Hokage remembered him. His attire and personality had changed considerably. He wore an orange jacket over a white t-shirt with black jeans and sandals. On his waist was a pouch which contained all the ninja gear. A medium-sized bag hung on his back strapped on his shoulders. His posture was upright and with a gleam on his face which reflected confidence. The only things which remained the same to his pleasure were his blonde hair, blue eyes, whiskers on his cheek and especially the trademark grin on his face. How has your journey been? I know you've been sending me letters time to time but still I'd like to hear it face to face. Life has been quite normal here in the village, so an old man like me doesn't have much interesting to hear nowadays, asked the Hokage. It was awesome, Gigi. I can't tell you how much fun I had all this time. And just you wait until I show you how strong I've become, said Naruto. Yeah right, don't be so you brat. You've still got long ways to go. I could still flick you with a finger if I wanted to, smirked Tsunade. Naruto formed a pout at how she shattered all his boasting in one blow. The Hokage chuckled at the light-hearted antics. My, it sure has been a long time, thought the Hokage. Of course, Naruto. I myself am quite curious as to how strong you've got since the last time, he said. Yeah, and there's also something else that you don't know about yet. We'll keep it a surprise then, Tsunade smirked. The Hokage was curious but he knew Tsunade far too well to know that there was no way he'll get anything out of her. He decided to drop the topic and leave it for later. Why don't we have a test to assess the extent of your skills, Naruto? He asked instead. That would be a great exercise for him, sensei. I would also like to watch an interesting match before we hit the road again. Who will you be pairing him up with? Tsunade asked. You seem to have the wrong idea, Tsunade. I'm not pairing him up with someone to gauge his skills. I want him face to face and look how much progress he's made by exchanging blows in combat. Yes, you're thinking right, I will be his opponent, said the Hokage. Tsunade had a surprised look on her face while Shizune's jaw dropped at the statement. You must be joking, right, Hokage-sama? There's no way someone like you would actually fight this little kid, right? Shizune asked out of concern. Sure, Naruto was strong and could hold his own against a regular opponent, but this was the Hokage. The strongest person in the Leaf Village, no, the Land of Fire. He could squash him like a bug without a sweat if he wanted to, not that he would actually do something like that, but still. I understand your concern. Don't worry, I merely want to assess him and maybe loosen some rusty joints, he said while laughing. Yeah, I get to fight the Hokage himself. This will be a golden opportunity if I want to prove that I can be Hokage too, Dadbeo, Naruto exclaimed. Now that all is settled, I would like to give you a welcome back present, the Hokage said. Whoa, a welcome present? You mean a gift? What is it? Please tell me, hurry up, he said excitedly. The Hokage chuckled internally. No matter how mature he has become, he was a child after all. These little happy moments and excitement made the boy jump up and down, which he truly liked and hoped that Naruto never loses it. "Hold out your hand, Naruto," he ordered. Naruto happily complied. The Hokage took out a scroll and opened it. A seal was made on it beforehand. He took Naruto's hand and pressed it upon the seal. To the boy's astonishment, the seal transferred onto his palm. He was a little surprised but kept calm. The seal vanished after a few seconds as if it never existed. "Here, all done. Now you can step back," the Hokage said. "But what is this seal? And why is it on my palm? Why did it disappear?" he asked when a lot of questions raised in his mind as he stepped back. "This is the key to your new home. You won't be living at your old place anymore," the Hokage said smiling. "What? But what about my old house? And my stuff that I left?" he asked concerned. "That place also belongs to you. And all your stuff is safe in the storeroom of your new home. I had it moved since many people tried to pry around in your old home," he explained. "Really? I'm getting a new home?" exclaimed Naruto after the initial concern about his stuff was now relieved. "Yes, here is the location. It is a 2-story apartment and yours is the upper flat. The owner of the lower one is mostly out of the village for business purposes. So neighbors won't be a problem. But even then, I suggest that you disguise yourself or keep yourself hidden from the general public as possible when you go there. There's no telling what some hooligans might do if they know you live there," explained the Hokage while handing him a paper. "Wow, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I get to live in a brand new home. And sure, I'll remember all the advice and follow them properly," he said. "But wait a minute, you said that this is a key. But how is it possible? I thought it was a seal of some kind," Naruto added. "This is a special kind of seal, a type of key. The lock is a chakra seal on the entrances. It is a basic chakra seal lock but should keep away any prying civilians from entering your home," said the Hokage. Naruto was gaping with awe at him. He never thought when he reached home he would get such a gift. "Arigato gozaimasu, Jiji," he said as he hugged him lightly. "I'm glad that you like it. But it can wait until you actually see it," Hokage said. "However it may be, it will be good for me if you have chosen it. Also, it cannot be worse than the last one no matter how you look at it," Naruto grinned. The Hokage and the other chuckled heartily at the silver-tongued devil. "Now please excuse me, I have to go unpack and arrange my stuff. I have to prepare for the match tomorrow. What time should I be there?" Naruto asked. "I guess 7 in the morning would be a good time. I have to be at the office afterwards for some paperwork," the Hokage told him and dropped his head out of exasperation. "Understood. I'll be on time," Naruto said as he approached the window to leave. "I forgot to tell you, but there's one thing in this village I missed even more than you, Jiji," Naruto added as he jumped on the window pane. "Huh, what is it?" the Hokage asked curiously. They could see the outline of his smirk as he was facing towards outside the window ready to leave. "The one and only, Ichiraku's ramen," said Naruto as he took off. Only laughter could be heard in the office afterwards. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was going through the streets of Konoha disguised as another person. He decided against directly going to the ramen shop as he had the luggage on him. First he would drop the stuff at his home, brand new home, and then head there. He arrived at the location. It wasn't very far from the center of the village like his last one, but not very close to it too, which was good, since it would be more peaceful. It was exactly like the Hokage had described. 2 floors in the small apartment with a stairway at the left side around the back corner. The front door of the ground floor was locked, as expected. Good. No annoying neighbors, he could even train without getting complaints from under the floor. He reached the stairway and entered the building after carefully looking around for anyone watching him. After reaching the top, he found only one door which had a basic design and pure white color. Good. The last thing he wanted was flashy appearances around to get unwanted attraction. The only peculiar thing was a rectangular metal plate above the handle instead of the lock that lied below it. He figured that it would be the chakra lock that the Hokage had told him about. He pressed his palm upon the metal plate and felt a little tinge in his palm. The seal glowed for a second and then the door unlocked. He wondered at how the mechanism worked but dropped the thought away for the time being. He opened the door to enter the house, no, his new home. He was quite impressed at the first glance of the interior. It was nothing like the old shabby dump where he used to live. On the contrary, it gave a bright feeling to the heart. The design was plain and simple on the inside as it was on the outside, nothing fancy, not that he needed it. At the doorstep, a shoe rack laid on the corner. He removed his sandals and proceeded to explore the house further. On his front was a wall which led the only walkway to the right side into the center of the house. Before the turn, he spotted two doors on the sides of corner, left and front. He peeked through the door on the left to find one small store room which was half occupied with his old stuff. He moved on to the next door through which he found a medium-sized empty room with two windows and a gate which led to a small washroom. Well, I can probably put some chairs around here to make it a guest room or something. I'll figure out later, he thought. He closed both the doors and turned into the narrow walkway. Well, this is good. This way nobody can see my home directly through the front door even if I made a mess, he said to no one. He reached the end after a few steps and found a large hall on the right compared to the rooms before. Otherwise it wasn't anything huge. Still, way better than his old home. A square wooden table with chairs was present in the middle, good enough for 4 people. On the immediate left at the end of walkway, a door was present which led to a comfortably spacious lead bath with a small skylight which could be covered. Moving ahead, a shelf was present in the wall which separated the next room from the bathroom. The corner room was a kitchen and was until now the most additive improvement from his old home yet. It was floored with tiles and the counter slab was made of marble with a regular sink at a corner. The design was a little better than plain simple, but he liked it. I guess with this much space it'd be a pity if I only ate ramen, he thought and grinned. Along his journey, Tsunade had been very strict with him regarding his food habits as his tongue had taken a deep liking to the taste of ramen and wasn't fond of other foods either. He remembered the time when he first had to part with his longtime companion instant ramen not much later after his journey had begun. Flashback. The trio, yes, I'm not going to specify the pet every time, had set up camp for the night somewhere in a clearing in the forest. They had lit a fire and the dinner was almost ready. Naruto began to rummage around his baggage and pulled out instant ramen cups. Shizune giggled at the boy's attachment to the savory. Tsunade, on the other hand, was a little uncomfortable that he had brought so much of the stuff but decided to let it go for now. We just left the village. Maybe he'll get over it soon. It's not like someone can live on ramen alone, right? She thought. Time skip, a few days later. The group was walking in a town looking for a decent restaurant which had quality food but not unnecessary ambience and stuff as they were costly. A ninja must utilize his resources in hand to the fullest no matter what the situation may be, was a rule that nobody had officially quoted but was originated from common sense, duh. After a long search, they found one good enough. They were about to enter but Naruto had other plans. I'm going to head for the ramen shop there. After finishing I'll meet you up at the restaurant. I'll be back soon, he said as he ran off to a shop which was on the opposite side of the lane a few shops ahead. It won't be as good as Ichiraku's, but better than nothing. Here I come, he thought. Tsunade was annoyed at the gesture and a ticked mark appeared on her forehead anime style. He was about to go and give him a piece of her mind but Shizune managed to calm her down somehow. Although this was the last time he walked off this easy, as in the next incident what happened changed his perspective of the nice old lady forever. Time skip. Before leaving the town they had to stock up on their supplies. Shizune left Tsunade at the hotel as Naruto insisted on going shopping with her. Seeing no harm they let him go with her. An hour later, The duo returned, but what Tsunade saw shocked her completely. Shizune carried a bag of groceries with Tauntaun, but Naruto had a sack of it, double his own size. And further to her shock, it was filled with instant ramen cups all over. Angry? No, she was more like, enraged. What is this, Shizune? Care to explain? She asked. Sorry my lady, but he insisted that he loved ramen and that he wouldn't get any during his travels, so we buy many at once. I tried to reason, but he's stubborn, she said. Take this and return it right now, Gyo, she ordered. Wait a minute, this ramen, Naruto interjected. Tsunade flinged her hand at him and grabbed him by the collar. Listen here, you brat, I've been tolerating this since many days, but this is the limit, she shouted full of fury. Both Naruto and Shizune froze at their places. Tsunade noticed that. What the hell are you waiting around for? Didn't I tell you to do something? She said. Shizune nodded quickly and rushed off, picking up the sack as fast as she could. No wait, my ramen, Naruto started once again. She lifted him up in the same position and pressed him against the wall. You still don't have enough hate, Sasuke. Style, just a little less violent, lol. Listen here and keep your mouth shut. You can't live off ramen alone. You are a growing child and your body needs proper nutrition. If you want to gain strength, you will have to eat properly. This way you won't be able to build up normal strength, let alone be stronger. I don't know how you have managed to stay on that, for it be such an obsession, but now I won't allow it. Until you are under my care, you will have to listen to each and everything I say, regardless of whatever the heck it is. You may eat the ramen occasionally, but you will eat a proper nutritional diet from now on like everybody else. Now, is that clear? She asked with an angry frown. Naruto had never faced such a situation in his life before. The Hokage was always nice to him. The villagers were a different story, they wanted him to suffer, so they humiliated him. But this, she was the most intimidating person he had ever encountered, and on top of it he had no proper rationale to retaliate, since she was actually right in being concerned of him. Why yes, sure, he said in a low, timid voice. What? I didn't hear you. This is what happens when you don't have enough strength by stuffing same ramen day and night. I'll ask again, is that clear to you? She asked. He was terrified but gathered up enough courage and strength to utter one word that he remembered a certain silver-haired Anbu would say to the Hokage whenever he was asked the same question. Crystal. He replied. She released the grip and he fell on the floor on his butt with his back along the wall. It hurt, but he didn't have enough courage left to say anything. Good boy, I knew you were a smart one. Now why don't you help me arrange these groceries we have here? She said in a happy tone with a smile which was completely a 180 from the expression a moment ago. He gulped and nodded, refraining from saying literally anything that would piss off this woman again. Ever. Flashback over. He shuddered at the memory and pushed it aside as he went out of the kitchen back into the hall. The only room left was on the other side of the hall. He crossed the hall only to stop midway as he noticed a framed picture hanging on the wall on the right. He was totally surprised and yet pleased at the same time. It was a picture of the three of them, since it's a photo, Tauntaun is also included, a few months after he left the village. A newbie aspiring photographer had pestered them quite a bit before they decided to go for it. He was new, yet he was no novice. He captured the perfect photo they could have asked for. The angle, the lighting, the effects were finely detailed, undeniably a work of expertise. The background was a beautiful and serene waterfall along which water flowed smoothly. Greenery had surrounded the fertile land around the waterfall. Sunshine illuminated the area brightly, creating a feeling of warmth. Amongst all this, Tsunade was sitting on a medium-sized rock with Shizune standing beside her holding Tauntaun. Our protagonist Naruto was sitting in the lap of the Sannin with a cheerful grin on his face. It was definitely the old man. He must have seen the photo from Ba-chan and framed it to be put here, he thought. Thank you very much, it is a wonderful gift. He said to no one but made a mental note to personally thank the Hokage. On the other side of the wall there were 2 sets of windows, and on the corner lied a stool on which a small TV screen on which any important broadcast could be watched. Additionally, he could also play videos by using VHS. This was installed not to entertain Naruto but keeping in mind that he would have to re-watch certain moves or techniques from time to time to imprint them in his memory. It could be also used to analyze a person's moves in detail if a battle is recorded. Although it is a well-known fact a shinobi should be perceptive enough to analyze and counter an enemy's moves even in the midst of a battle, Naruto was still only a child. It would be helpful if he didn't have to rely only on his teachers and have an opportunity to improve his skills by his own if he chooses to. Or so the Hokage thought. Finally, he entered the bedroom. The door was located on the right corner. He was eager to see this room because it would be the one he'd be spending most of his time in. And he wasn't disappointed, to say the least. The room was almost half as much bigger than a regular bedroom. Considering how his previous bedroom was smaller than a regular one, this looked like double the size. It had a large bed near the room entrance on the left side in the middle. In front of the bed was a balcony which extended from a little more than half the width of the room up to the corner. At the left corner at the side of bed, a wooden study table and chair were present. On the table, a lamp was kept to be used for nighttime study. On the right side were 2 almirah in the wall which were present for wardrobe purposes. There was no problem in the daytime since 3 windows extended on the wall letting in sunlight in the room. The best part was that the room was very well ventilated with air and sunlight due to the balcony and windows. And believe it or not, Naruto liked it very much. Imagine Sasuke's room from canon. This room is based upon that with minor modifications. He entered the balcony closing the glass doors behind him. Sorry about doing this again, but please don't give me crap about how a ninja shouldn't have glass doors in his home. I'll do something about that too, although he was cautious to not let anyone see him now that he was out in the open, so he kept a disguise. The view was quite good. Unlike his old home which was situated in the outskirts and didn't have much development, this area was quite better with developed homes and streets. The civilians were also more civilized looking, unlike some crazy ruffians, but being careful didn't hurt. He thought that the home tour was enough for the time being and should head out now. So he turned back to open the glass doors, but to his surprise they were locked and he couldn't open them. He tried the same with the windows out of hurry, but they were locked too. After a few unsuccessful attempts, he decided to break the glass and have it repaired afterwards. This wasn't the ideal method, but there was no other option. He punched the glass hoping to crack it enough to let him inside. Instead, he was shocked to have his fist hit something like a solid wall. He tried again only to find his attempts futile. Before he could use any other means using force, he saw a metal plate which resembled the same one at the door. He pressed his palm upon the plate and surprisingly the door unlocked. He thought about it and remembered that the same design was employed upon the windows as well. Then he realized what was actually the situation. The seal was not designed to just reinforce the door like a lock, it was actually set up at multiple entry points in his house and were connected to each other, forming a protective barrier around. Unless one has the key or has a way to destroy one of the seals, it is not possible to enter the house. It wasn't any big of a deal for a trained ninja, but it sure was a nightmare for any prying civilians. The Hokage had made sure before Naruto's arrival that he should not encounter any problems with dumbass civilians while in the village. Having a basic security seal installed on a house was no big deal for the Hokage to do. He also had made basic arrangements like the bed and table chairs for him. Rest of the requirements or modifications he left for Naruto to handle. After all, it was his home. It is only fitting that he plans it according to his own comfort. Naruto quickly dropped the bag inside the almirah and headed out of his home happy and content. The Hokage had made all arrangements for him so that he doesn't encounter any day-to-day difficulties. Now it was his turn to be responsible and use this opportunity to work hard and improve himself in all aspects. But for now, Something else was occupying his mind more than anything. With a gleam in his eyes, he dashed off to the one place he loved the most in the entire world. The one and only, Ichiraku's ramen. Scene break and time skip. He set out towards the shop in disguise initially, but decided to revert back to normal once he was far enough from his home. He would have to be Naruto when he meets the ramen shop owner, and after all, the fact that he's back would be revealed to the people, one way or the other. Once he was near the ramen stand, he looked for any signs of people around. He noticed the same two guys standing there as the last time he was here. He decided to wait out until they leave, because no matter how excited he was, he didn't want the shop to incur losses on account of him. He walked in alleyway beside the shop to wait in the shadows so no one can spot him or disturb him. He rested his head against the wall and closed his eyes, leaning him against it, folding his hands. He was alert for some time, but as the two men at the stall already left, he was found to be dozing off. The weariness of the journey made him relaxed. Until someone woke him up. "Excuse me, mister. Do you want something from our shop? You'll have to order at the counter first," the voice said. Naruto suddenly jumped at the voice and looked for the source. It was a young girl not very older than himself. She was wearing an attire similar to that of the ramen stall owner. A white robe with folded sleeves and a bandana on the head with brown hair and deep black eyes. Yeah, but I'm afraid you're wrong. I'm about to go to Ichiraku's ramen, not your shop. And sorry to bother you, I'll come by to your shop some other time maybe. This time I just have to eat here." He chuckled uncomfortably. The girl giggled unexpectedly loudly, as to which Naruto asked why she did. "Silly fellow, I am talking about Ichiraku's ramen. There aren't many shops around the area, don't you know?" she said. Come to think of it, she was right. He didn't think about the fact since he was getting more attention on not getting suspicious. But again, how could she be from Ichiraku's? Last he remembered, the owner was Tuki. Wait, don't tell me he sold the shop. No, I waited for so long to get a taste of his ramen. He mentally went crazy. Before he could say anything, the girl said, "I'm going from the back. Please go to the counter and place an order. We'll be serving you shortly," as she strolled away with some groceries in her hands. With no other option, he walked to the ramen stand and entered inside. "Welcome, dear customer, pleased to serve you. What would you like to have today?" asked the owner as he was cleaning up the last preparations with his back at Naruto. Naruto was relieved to find that the voice sounded exactly like Tuki. Man, he was so terrified even at the thought that the shop was sold. But then who was that girl? Never mind, who cares as long as the old man's here. Ahem, I need my special bowl, sir. Naruto asked, deepening his voice a little. Sorry, but we don't customize the orders, sir. Please have a look at the menu chart at the side and choose any of the varieties, the owner said, still doing his work. Naruto was having a fun time but decided to get attention now. I'm quite sure I do have a special bowl here, mister. And I won't go until I've had enough of it, he said. Look, sir, I told you we don't take customers, Tuki said with annoyance, but it converted to surprise the moment he turned to look at his customer. Naruto, is it really you? He asked. In flesh and bones, Oji-san. Naruto grinned. Ha ha ha, it has been such a long time, my boy. You don't know how much I missed my favorite customer, he said. Not as much as I missed you and the ramen, Naruto replied. Ha ha, Naruto special, coming right up, he said. He went on to talk about Naruto's journey while preparing him a Naruto special bowl of ramen. When it was finished, Naruto was surprised to have a bowl 3 times as large compared to th extra large one. It was actually a decorative piece I had bought for the store. But seeing you this hungry, I decided to serve you in this one. Dig in, this one's on the house, he said with his trademark smile. Whoa, thanks Oji-san. Itadakimasu, said Naruto as he started gulping down ramen at an inhuman speed. The girl entered the room while saying, I have arranged the materials in the store properly. Do you need me to do anything else, To-san? She said. Naruto choked on his ramen after hearing that she was actually his daughter. Good work, girl. I want to introduce someone to you here. He is our shop's favorite and eternal customer. No man or woman on this planet is able to eat as much ramen as this guy here. Meet Naruto Uzumaki. He said. Naruto just held his hand up to wave it uncomfortably. Wait, this guy, I just met him in the alley beside our shop. He didn't even know I work here. And I've never seen him since the last 2 years I've started working, the girl said. Tsuki was initially confused but quickly understood why Naruto didn't come here right away. He smiled at the concern he showed for his shop. Yes, actually he wasn't around for the last 3 years. But now that he's here, he'll be needing all the ramen he can get. And I don't think we can satisfy his appetite even with the ingredients you just bought, Tsuki said jokingly. This is my daughter, Ayame. She's been working with me at the shop since the last 2 years. It seems she has developed a liking to culinary arts because of my work. She helps me around here and there while studying more on the subject in the free time, he said to Naruto. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san, she said as she extended her hand. Likewise, Ayame-san. He extended his hand in reciprocation. He wasn't aware of her nature but decided that she was a good person. She was Tsuki's daughter after all. With that, she started helping Tsuki in making ramen for him. Naruto, who had already finished his bowl, started watching her dreamily. I wish I would have a wife like her who can make ramen for me every day for my whole life, he thought. There were no feelings directed at the girl but instead at the ramen that he loved so much. Understandable, he was still a kid after all. He talked about his experiences throughout his journey with them while stuffing himself up with ramen. Respecting the privacy of the talks, the owner had closed the shutters for the rest of the day for other public. Finally, it was late afternoon and he had to head back home. He bade goodbye to both of them and thanked them for the ramen after paying the bill. Scene break and time skip. Naruto had reached his home after buying some essentials and groceries from the market while in disguise. He felt a little alone at home after staying with the other 2 women for such a long time but shrugged the feeling off. The emptiness of the new home which the Hokage had left for him to fill also didn't help much in the matter. But this was not the time for it. He was to perform tomorrow in front of the Hokage himself and his own travel companions and mentors. I should be preparing right now. The Hokage is no ordinary opponent. I wonder if I'll even be able to scratch him. I should ready up all my gear and equipments and probably have some last-minute training, he thought. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was sitting atop the Hokage rock watching the sunset. The village looked beautiful from up there. The stone Hokage faces were a symbol of the village's power and leadership, and he wanted to become someone like them one day. Specifically, like the 4th Hokage on whose Hokage monument he was resting upon. He had learned quite a lot about all the Hokage during his journey from the Sannin, and the 4th Hokage was the one who impressed him the most. Reason? He didn't just know why. Maybe it was because he single-handedly turned a war in his favor, or maybe because he took up the title at such a young age. He was also feeling a little emotional while watching the pleasing sight of the sun turning crimson from bright yellow, forming a bright orange glow at the center. The colors ring a bell. Mom, Dad, I never knew who you were. But I hope you're watching me from up there and will keep doing so forever. I will achieve my dream of becoming Hokage and be respected by everyone. I wish I could have just got to know even if a little bit. Don't worry, although, I'll never let little things like this get in my way. I will make you proud, and that's a promise, he thought as tears flowed down his face. Naruto had been training since he left the house and reached the grounds until sunset. Guessing that he had enough, he decided to watch the sunset before heading home. But now, he felt it troublesome to move and go home. Gathering up whatever strength he had, he stood up, wiped his tears and headed out to his home. Tomorrow was a big day, he got the chance to show his skills, and he sure wasn't gonna waste it.